Welcome to another Corridor video in celebration of Manufacturing Week and all things economic development. We're excited to be interviewing Kent Stensland with Bank Midwest. He's the Chief Credit Officer. Lenders are such an important part of our economic development culture in the corridor. So today we're going to explore that a little bit deeper. So Kent, tell me a little bit about yourself and your time with Bank Midwest.
Sure. I've been at Bank Midwest since 2009. I actually started down in Wall Lake, Iowa, where Bank Midwest first started 140 years ago. Wow. So multiple generations. So I currently live in Spirit Lake and work out of the Spirit Lake location. Chief Credit Officer. I've been here in the Spirit Lake area since 2013. So been here quite a few years and involved on the credit side, but also on the executive management team for the bank. So
okay, that's great. So what kind of a geography do you cover?
So we've got 11 locations, mostly northwest Iowa, southwest Minnesota, and then we got the one location in Sioux Falls. We do have an organization called One Place Capital down in Des Moines. They do equipment financing in all 50 states. Wow. So we're kind of all the way through all states, but mostly heavy in the southwest Minnesota, northwest Iowa. So
right. So talk to us a little bit about some of your products for economic development projects and how you partner locally.
So we try and get involved early on so we can help structure and do things. I mean, we're pretty innovative. I always think we're an entrepreneurial type bank, so we do that type of thinking. So we can use different programs, SBA, FSA, programs to help people get started or do improvements or larger renovations or whatever they need to do. So we've got multiple things we can do.
That is great. So considering that customer base, what do you think are the greatest benefits of having that strong economic development culture region-wide?
Yeah. So, the corridor does a great job at what you guys do, but if you've got a vibrant area, a growing area, I think other businesses want to be in that area, and also do the people that are working in those areas. So being vibrant and growing is very, very important for what we see in our customer base. It attracts more business and more people. So it's pretty important for you guys, as that's just to keep this corridor growing and being vibrant. So. Right.
So as an advocate of the corridor for years, as an individual and your employer as well, why do you believe in that 4-county regional approach versus counties independently operating?
So this was I've been on multiple development boards through my career, and I'm getting towards the end of it somewhere along the line here, but it is a unique situation where you have 4, and what I saw was the collaboration that come together with the 4 counties. If there's a project that didn't work in Dickinson County, it might work in Clay County or BV or in Emmett. So I think it's kind of a neat, unique organization that we're working with that. Will it always be that way in the future? I don't know. It might change. It might change more counties. There are communities and counties that are struggling to find development. And can we reach out and help them more? Or do we dial back and become just maybe a 2 or 3 county? There'll be a lot of changes going on in the future, I think. But right now, that 4 counties is working very well.
Right. So. You're exactly right. The collaboration is just such an example in the region. So I'm going to go a little more personal here. What was your why for being involved in development?
So my why, like I said, I've been on multiple boards and development boards, was just to get involved. I mean, and try and help this area to be more vibrant, more growing. We all need jobs, we all need communities, and we need vibrant communities. If you don't, I've lived in communities that are starting to die off, and that's not where I want to live, and I know that's where we can't bring people into work that want to be that way. So the why was just being involved and trying to head things in the right direction.
Yes, exactly. So tell me a little bit about your experience as a corridor board member. Maybe share the good and the bad. Talk about some of the challenges, but again, some of those stories that just stick with you as a great example.
Yeah. So there's a couple that I was on quite a few years, but OEI to me was just something that kind of hit me in the heart. That was a neat program. What we do with those kids coming out of colleges for their entrepreneurial spirit that they have. So it was fun to be involved with that. Again, as you start to look back at your career, you're trying to help people mentor and coach along the way. And I've stayed in contact with a lot of those kids, trying to help them with their business plans and whatnot. So that was pretty special. And you hope sometimes you land some of those kids coming back this way to either open up their business and maybe come back and start one and hire more people. But
Yeah.
there's some pretty impressive kids in those groups that have gone through here. Probably the second thing that, and it wasn't a big project by any means, and it was wind test. I mean, I enjoyed that thoroughly. I was in that from the beginning to end, and I think those two ladies from Germany taught me more than I could teach them. But it was really a fun time. I mean, it was a good time, and now it sounds like they're bringing some other business along with them to come over here. So those are the fun things. Negative, not too much negative. I think the hardest thing is probably trying to get everybody to work together and look at the thing as a development corridor. And I know we've always had issues between cities and counties and trying to keep everybody on the same page, so not everybody wants something. Why did they get that? Why didn't we get that? So those are some of the negative parts probably. So,
Right. But all can be remedied,
That's right,
with a
that's
lot
right.
of hard work. So another question I have for you, because again, I love your thinking and your approach in economic development specifically. What's your vision? What do you see in the corridor in the next, say, 5 to 10 years? Because I think things really are changing.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about what you see.
So I think it is going to change. I mean, when I was on, for many years we talked about housing for all this labor that we needed. I think some of that's been fixed, and now we got labor shortages. I think the corridor has always been very fluid with what you have to do, and I think you're going to have to probably even be more fluid going forward. I think we need to keep growing the area with development and businesses, but I think you're going to have some other pieces that you'll have to take care of along the way. And I think that's the crazy times we're in, because the labor shortage, can we hire more people? Can we get them here for the businesses that are coming in? I think you, as a director, will have to be very fluid with where you're going and what's happening. So
I agree.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts or words that you have before I ask the big question?
Not really. It was a joy being on the board. We had a good group on the board at the time, and I feel like we did a lot of things. I don't think we tell our story enough, and I know as Midwest, Northwest Iowa people, that's hard to do, is to pat yourself on the back. But I think the more we can tell our story and how much we've done and what we do and how many businesses and jobs we've brought, I think that needs to continue to be told over and over again.
So, what is one word that you would use to describe the corridor?
There's more than one, but if I have to drill it down to one, I think it's excellence. I think the staff is excellent. What we try and do is excellent, but there's an excellence around everything that you guys have to do as a staff and the board also. You want to keep that level of excellence up very high so you can get what you want to get and get businesses in the community and then also the staffing that you need to have. So excellence is my word. It really is.
That's perfect. Thank you so much.
You bet.
And thanks for joining us today and sharing some of your thoughts.
You bet. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Good luck in the future.